I'm Kylie. The air in the ballroom was thick with tension, a strange blend of citrus cleaner and champagne. The DJ had just turned down the music, and all eyes were on us. Daniel's face had gone as pale as a ghost when his phone buzzed. A voice from behind us asked, "Who's Lily Thompson?" With an HR person holding a clipboard, pen at the ready. Daniel blurted out, "Just a colleague," way too quickly. I took a slow sip of my drink, the ice clinking in my glass. Lily stepped forward and said, "I should go. Early meeting." Daniel reached for her arm but missed. That's when it hit him. His eyes landed on my wrist, the thin gold band that caught the light. It was my hidden weapon, my plastic power. I tapped my phone, and the shared card froze. A soft chime echoed through the suddenly silent room. The bartender's smile vanished as she said, "Sir, this card's declined." People started turning their heads, phones were being lifted. Daniel forced out a brittle laugh and said, "Try it again." But the same chime rang out. Lily's phone rang. She answered and listened, her face going completely still. She looked at Daniel as if he was already a thing of the past. Daniel turned to me and said, "I didn't authorize that." "You can't." I held up my phone screen, showing a message thread and a PDF icon. For a split second, the lease header with 2 names was visible. He lunged for my phone, but I stepped back. The HR person cleared her throat and said, "We need to talk, Daniel. Now." Lily set her glass down untouched and whispered, "I warned you at the bank." But Daniel was too busy hearing the whispers and the cutting laugh in the room. Someone mispronounced my name, while someone else said his correctly. Security came in with gentle hands but firm smiles. "Sir," they said. Daniel's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. He pulled his arm free and shouted, "This is my marriage. She's doing this to humiliate me." I met his eyes calmly and said, "You asked me not to make it awkward." As the band started up again, too loud and too fast, Lily walked past me towards the doors without looking back. Daniel tried to lunge after her but was stopped by security. My phone buzzed. It was an unknown number, and a lawyer's signature was previewed on the screen. Outside, the rain was hitting the glass, and inside, his boss shook his head. I took off the gold band and dropped it on the bar, then hit send. Let me take you back to how all this started. Daniel, my husband, is 35 years old. He comes from a well-to-do family. His father is a strict businessman who always expects Daniel to live up to high standards, while his mother is a kind-hearted socialite who loves throwing parties. I, on the other hand, grew up in a middle-class family. My parents are hard-working people. My father is a mechanic, and my mother is a schoolteacher. A few days ago, Daniel came home and said, "My ex, Lily, will be at the office party. Don't make it awkward." I smiled and told him, "Of course, I'll be on my best behavior." What he didn't know was that I had already met Lily at the bank. That morning at the bank, I was there to handle some joint account business. The teller slid a folder across the desk. Lily, who was sitting nearby, glanced over. She recognized my name before she even saw my face. "That account ending in 3849, she said softly. "Joint." I nodded. She swallowed hard and leaned closer. I said, "He told you enough." She shook her head once and replied, "Not enough." At the party, the ballroom was decorated with white lights and everyone was wearing name badges. Daniel's co-workers clapped when he took the mic. I stood at the edge of the crowd, deliberately staying out of sight. Someone called out, "Daniel, you didn't bring your wife." He laughed without even looking at me and said, "She's around." I raised my glass, but no one noticed. Lily was standing near the bar, looking confident in her dark blazer with her hair pinned up. Her phone was face down on the bar, as if making a promise. People were naturally drawn to her, as they always are when someone exudes an air of calm confidence. Daniel tried to avoid her on the dance floor at first, making wide circles. But when he thought I wasn't looking, he got closer. As he passed by me, he whispered, "Don't," and I smiled and said, "Please, of course." When Daniel's boss raised a toast, there was applause and laughter. Lily's eyes met mine, as if asking a question. That's when I lifted my wrist, showing the gold band. It was then that I started to set my plan in motion. Daniel's phone buzzed, and that's when the whole situation started to unravel. I knew that the lease agreement I had on my phone was the key to exposing his lies. The shared card decline was just the beginning of his downfall. As the chaos continued around me, I couldn't help but think about how this all came to be. Daniel had thought he could keep his past and his present separate, but I had found out the truth. And now, in this ballroom filled with his colleagues, his secrets were being laid bare. The security guards were still holding Daniel back. His boss was looking at him with disappointment. I could see the realization in Daniel's eyes that his world was falling apart. And as I stood there, watching it all unfold, I knew that I had finally taken back control. The rain outside seemed to mirror the chaos inside. The party that was supposed to be a celebration had turned into a nightmare for Daniel. Lily was long gone, and Daniel was left to face the consequences of his actions. My phone continued to buzz with messages from the lawyer. I knew that this was just the start of a new chapter in my life. I was no longer the naive wife who would turn a blind eye. I was Kylie, and I was ready to move on. As I stood there, looking at the mess that Daniel had created, I took a deep breath. I knew that there would be challenges ahead, but I was confident that I could handle them. The gold band on the bar was a symbol of the power I had reclaimed. And with a final glance around the room, I turned and walked out, leaving Daniel and his shattered world behind.